The buzz in the auditorium was electric. Hundreds of people sat in rows of sleek chairs, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of a massive LED screen displaying Elon Musk's name. The crowd, a mixture of ambitious students, tech enthusiasts, and entrepreneurs, was united by a single goal: to learn from one of the greatest innovators of their time. Among them sat Ethan, a 12-year-old boy in a faded hoodie, clutching a tattered notebook to his chest. His heart raced as Elon Musk walked onto the stage to thunderous applause. Musk, dressed in a simple blazer and jeans, radiated a calm confidence. "Good evening, everyone," Musk began, his voice steady but warm. "I'm here today to talk about dreams, about challenges, and about the kind of thinking that changes the world." Ethan hung on every word, his grip tightening on his notebook. He wasn't just here to listen. He was here to ask a question that had been burning in his mind for weeks. The talk went on, with Musk delving into stories of his life. "When I started SpaceX," he said, leaning slightly against the podium, "I had no guarantee of success. In fact, most people thought I was insane. They said rockets were for governments, not private companies. They laughed when I said I wanted to make them reusable." The audience chuckled softly, but Musk's expression grew serious. "Do you know how many times we failed before we succeeded?" he asked. 3 launches, 3 explosions, each one cost tens of millions of dollars. By the time we got to the 4th launch, I had put everything I had on the line. Tesla was struggling, SpaceX was on the brink of collapse, and I was borrowing money just to keep things afloat. If that 4th launch had failed, Musk paused, the weight of the memory clear in his voice, we wouldn't be here today. He straightened up, his gaze scanning the room. But it didn't fail. We succeeded, and that success came not because we avoided failure, but because we learned from it. Every setback taught us something invaluable. That's the first thing I want you to remember. Failure isn't the enemy. It's a teacher. Ethan scribbled furiously in his notebook. When the Q&A session began, Ethan hesitated. He was surrounded by adults in suits, each vying for a chance to speak. But something inside him pushed forward, a mix of desperation and determination. His hand shot up. "You in the hoodie," the moderator said, pointing at him. A microphone was passed down the row. Ethan stood slowly, his legs trembling. The microphone felt heavy in his hands. Taking a deep breath, he spoke. "Mr. Musk," he began, his voice cracking slightly, "how can someone like me, who has no money or resources, become successful like you?" The room fell silent. For a moment, it felt as if time had stopped. Elon Musk tilted his head, his expression softening. "What's your name, young man?" "Ethan," he replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "Well, Ethan," Musk said, stepping away from the podium, "that's a great question. And to answer it, I want to tell you something I wish someone had told me when I was your age." Musk's voice took on a more personal tone as he began to share his story. "When I was a kid growing up in South Africa, I didn't have much. I was awkward, introverted, and often lost in my own thoughts. I didn't have many friends, and I was bullied a lot at school. But there was one thing I did have: curiosity. I loved reading. Books were my escape and my education. I didn't just read for fun. I read to learn. Physics, engineering, computer programming, I devoured anything I could get my hands on." He gestured toward the audience. "You don't need money to start learning, Ethan. You need curiosity. That's your greatest resource. The world is full of knowledge, and most of it is free. Libraries, online courses, even YouTube. These are tools you can use to build your foundation." Musk's expression grew more intense. "But here's the thing. Knowledge alone isn't enough. You need to apply it. You need to build something, even if it's small. Start with what excites you. For me, it was coding. When I was 12, I created a video game and sold it for $500. That might not seem like much, but it showed me what was possible." Ethan's eyes widened. Musk continued, his voice growing more passionate. "The next thing you need is a problem to solve. Look around you, Ethan. What frustrates you? What seems unfair or inefficient? Those are opportunities in disguise. Every successful company I've built started with a problem I wanted to solve. Tesla? We wanted to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. SpaceX? We wanted to make humanity multiplanetary. Even PayPal was about making payments easier. Find your problem, and then think about how you can fix it. The audience nodded, captivated by Musk's words. And don't be afraid to think big, Musk added, his tone almost playful. People will tell you your ideas are impossible. Let them. If everyone agrees with you, you're probably not dreaming big enough. The future belongs to those who are willing to take risks, to fail, and to try again. He stepped closer to the edge of the stage, his gaze locking on Ethan. One last thing, Ethan, Musk said, his voice softening. Be persistent. Success doesn't come overnight. It comes after years of hard work, setbacks, and doubt. But if you keep moving forward, even when it feels like the world is against you, you'll get there. The room erupted into applause, but Musk wasn't finished. He stepped off the stage and walked toward Ethan, crouching down to meet him at eye level. From his pocket, he pulled out a pen and scribbled a list of book titles in Ethan's notebook. These books changed my life, he said, handing the notebook back. Start with them. And when you're ready, reach out to me. I'd love to see what you create. Tears welled up in Ethan's eyes as he whispered, Thank you, Mr. Musk. As the crowd watched in awe, many wiping away tears of their own, it was clear that this wasn't just a moment for Ethan. It was a moment for everyone in the room. Years later, Ethan would reflect on that day as the turning point of his life. Inspired by Musk's words, he dedicated himself to learning, creating, and solving problems. And when he finally achieved success, he would always say, It all started with a question, and a man who believed in my potential.